To all that is chaotic in you, let there come silence. Let there be a calming of the clamoring, a stilling of the voices that have laid their claim on you, that have made their home in you, that go with you, even to the holy places, and will not let you rest, will not let you hear your life with wholeness, or feel the grace that fashioned you. Let what distracts you cease. Let what divides you cease. Let there be an end to what diminishes and demeans, and let depart all that keeps you in its cage. Let there be an opening into the quiet that lies beneath the chaos, where you find the peace you did not think possible, and see what shimmers within the storm. Please join me in the chalice lighting reading. We kindle this flame to remind ourselves of the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment.
Greetings and a warm welcome to each of you in our sanctuary and those that are streaming online. This June 15th service at the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Burlington is beginning our summer services. Today, our theme is Nurturing Resilience When Problems Seem Relentless. My name is Betsy Ferries, and I use the pronouns she and her. I'm the worship associate for today's service and assisting our guest speaker, Lucy Samara. Along with this being the first summer service of 2025, it's also Father's Day, a time for many of us to think about our fathers, alive or who have passed. I've been thinking there's a connection between fathers and mothers and family as it relates to today's service. Statistically, there's an increase of people living alone, not marrying, or having children. While there are theories that abound as to why this is happening, one of the factors contributing to this statistic is the use of technology, leading to isolation and then discomfort in potential mating or social situations. The future result could be that there will be fewer couples, mothers and fathers, families, as folks shy away from engaging in their community. Today's theme touches on this idea of building resilience from a broader, more proactive point of view. It's precisely by folks coming together, volunteering together with a common purpose, that we develop a value as a compassionate community that understands our shared destiny. Our guest speaker today is Lucy Samara. She is very active in the Burlington area, supporting community responses to food and housing insecurity, mentoring volunteers that are engaged in that service. Lucy is a JUMP volunteer serving on the board of directors and on the JUMP Outreach Center. She served on the First Congregational Church, UCC, of Burlington staff, part-time for decades in outreach ministries, youth ministries, communications, and pastoral care coordination. As a South Burlington resident, Lucy is the grandmother to 5. We welcome you here today. Of course, now a few announcements, and they keep rolling in, through the week. I think, this will be short, but they're all very important. To access the order of service, you've heard this probably a lot, the gray hymnal in front of you, inside front cover. You can Click on the URL code. It'll take you to our website, uusociety.org, and you will find the order of service. There'll be one more order of service the last Sunday in June. In July and the first part of August, we will not have an order of service as there are staff on vacation. Some of you have questioned why we have both English and Spanish responses to our lighting of the chalice, dedication of gifts, and extinguishing the chalice. As a congregation, we welcome those congregants who speak Spanish and are grateful for their presence. Some of you might want to practice your Spanish with some of these congregants. Feel free to mask in the sanctuary. Hopefully this season will allow for healthier indoor air. If you're sick, please stay home. Take advantage of our live stream capacity. Next week, there will not be a service in this sanctuary. It's the General Assembly of the UUA Association in Baltimore. The Sunday morning worship service there is from 11 to 12:30 Eastern Time. And for more information on how to stream this service, go to generalassembly@uu.org. There will be a poster making workshop after the service today with Jeffrey Jared. Materials will be available to make a poster, perhaps for a protest, or a Love Your Neighbor poster, or another fun sentiment focused on your desires. Jeffrey, are you here today with us? Well, I assume he will be afterwards if you're looking for markers and paper. I do know, and I'll have you stand, Judy Brooke and maybe Warren Baker, if you could stand, they're interested in the service, which will be this August 10th. And it's a poetry service with the theme yin and yang. And if you're interested in writing a poem, we ask that after the service, speak with Judy and get more information. Now, welcome to newcomers. We're delighted that you've chosen to experience one of our services. If this is your first or second time attending, would you be willing to raise your hand so that we can see who you are? Great. All right. Our welcome ambassadors today are Mary Harrington and Raya Leila. And could you two stand over here? These folks would be happy to chat with you about any questions or comments you may have at the coffee hour right after this service. And it'll be out these doors just to my right, is where we'll be serving coffee today. So make sure that if you're new and would like more information, to seek out Mary or Ryla. Of course, there are cards in the pew you can fill out and place them in these baskets up here, or you can go to our website, uusociety.org, if you have questions, comments, thoughts. And it's our hope that many of you longtime members who are attending the coffee hour will reach out to the newcomers and make them feel welcome. In the spirit of building our own UU community, I would like to pause for a minute and ask you to say hello to two people around you that you might not know or know well. I'll draw us back together in 1 minute. All right, your minute's up. If you could take your seats, that would be helpful. Ding, 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 ding. As Unitarians, we strive to be a welcoming community. We gather together, bringing our different beliefs, origins, sexualities, genders, and cultural identities. We are all growing, all learning, and most of all loved. We welcome all here who are welcoming.
Good morning. I'm Liam. I'm your music director. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I was having a little bit of a problem. Thank you so much for everyone who asked after my health. I really appreciate it. It warms my heart. Our opening hymn this morning is number 1008, so if you will please rise in body or in spirit. That is in the teal book if you want to follow along, or of course the words will be up here as usual.
Good morning, friends. I'm Jean Genther, and I have some very sad news from my family. I don't see any children here, so I'd like you to know what I'm dealing with and to carry me and my family in your hearts. So I have a sister, almost 2 years older than I. We were like twins, shared a bedroom, very close. Wonderful musician, blues musician, great community maker. Selby is her name. And I have a brother, and he has serious, untreated mental illness. He is diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic, and refuses care. Now, this next part is really hard to hear and to live with. He killed her. Yeah. I see that there are no children here, which is why I felt free to share this information. And so that I'm not alone with it. And the need for mental illness care is enormous. So thank you for holding Selby and my brother Louis in your hearts. Could you pass me that flower arrangement? It's on the floor. So I brought them with me from my garden. This great big white peony is my sister, represents my sister, who is an amazing community maker, teacher of blues in the schools and libraries, and just quite wonderful as a humanitarian. And this purple salvia represents my brother, Louis, who, and they both, I love them both dearly, and they both need our prayers. Thank you for sharing this with me.
The meaning of community. The meaning of community and its value to all of us. Thank you for sharing. Mm-hmm. Well, moving on to something a little more cognitive here. Lucy has asked me to read just a little bit about the history of JUMP for some of you that might not know much about it. She starts by talking about a decade with high inflation rates and interest rates and increased unemployment. Those unemployment and stagnant wages for lower income workers exacerbated income inequity and financial hardship for many. The economic downturn put pressure on social welfare programs as demand for assistance increased. If this sounds familiar, stay with me here, she says. The decade I'm describing is the 1980s. Budget cuts to federal programs, including housing assistance, affordable housing production, had a direct impact on the availability of affordable housing in Vermont. Cuts in supplemental security income, SSI, and stricter eligibility requirements for disability benefits all contributed to increased homelessness. In our region, many of the social service programs we take for granted as necessary, shelters for adults, shelters for families, emergency food shelves, meal programs, and initiatives like JUMP, the Joint Urban Ministry Project, put down their foundational roots in response to the needs that became so apparent in that decade. At that time, a group of Burlington clergy and faith community leaders were meeting to share experience, concerns, and ideas for how to respond more thoughtfully, more effectively to the many people asking for and needing assistance. An unexpected resource helped the group move forward to form an enduring collaboration. In the 70s and 80s, Nathan Johnson was well known in Burlington. With a jovial manner, he made regular rounds to college campuses and area businesses, sharing jokes and stories in exchange for his audience's empty beverage cans and bottles that he redeemed for a nickel each. John lived simply, and experienced periods of homelessness. When he died in 1987, he left his money in a trust, stating in his will that his preference was to help Vermont families and adults experiencing poverty. In 1988, in the face of high community demands, the Nathaniel Johnson Trust provided $10,000 in seed money, and early participating Burlington faith communities pooled mission and pastoral care resources to launch JUMP, again, the Joint Urban Ministry Project. Heidi?
Good morning. I'm Heidi Duke, and JUMP volunteers were invited to share their experiences and perspectives with you this morning. Here is some of what they had to say. Several times now, I have met with an Iraqi woman at JUMP. We have gotten to know each other a bit, so on her recent visit, I was pleased and not surprised when Miriam asked me to help her fill out her paperwork. Now an American citizen, Miriam came to Vermont as a refugee 9 years ago. She has 3 sons and a husband in Vermont, but her oldest daughter lives in Iraq with her children, Miriam's grandchildren. She teared up, telling me she doesn't think she will ever get to see them again. We shared stories, talked about recipes and cooking, and about community resources that might help her family. Miriam receives a utility grant to help pay their electric bill, needed toiletries, and vouchers to 2 area thrift shops. Another volunteer says, "I love that JUMP is a judgment-free zone where everyone is welcome and seen as beloved. Because food and feeding people is my love language, I enjoy helping people to our JUMP breakfast and snack table where I help our guests feel nourished in both body and spirit." And another volunteer adds, "While JUMP provides its guests with valuable commodities such as food cards, gas cards, bus passes, utility payments, vouchers, and the like, what JUMP really provides is respect. At JUMP, we take time to listen. It's a small thing, but it is ultimately the thing our guests comment on and say that they appreciate as much as the assistance."
This is our time for spiritual practice. Spiritual practice allows for the creation of self-space. Within our Sunday service, music, stillness, generosity, and spoken meditation may define that meaningful spiritual practice for you. In addition, it's an opportunity to offer loving witness to each other. On our website, there is a form you can fill out to share a joy, sorrow, or gratitude that you would like shared as part of our pastoral prayer. Sometimes we receive submissions, sometimes we do not, though we know that every week, every moment, there are joys, sorrows, and gratitudes that swirl within our hearts. Please join me in this moment of prayer and reflection. In this circle of care, we name the following joys, sorrows, and gratitudes for the week. And let me begin by saying, in this circle of care, this community of compassion, we hold with resilient love Jean Gunther, whose sister died unexpectedly and suddenly this week. She welcomes prayers from the congregation as she and Bob travel to the memorial service in the coming week. In the community of care, we share a joy for Reverend Karen, who's begun a 2-month leave for renewal and rest. We're grateful for the folks who contributed to the well-run annual meeting last Sunday, complete with a video chronicling the myriad of activities last year. Bravo to them. In the circle of care, we're grateful for the congregation's overwhelming endorsement of a balanced budget for next year, beginning July 1, 2025. In this community of care, we share joy for the 38th wedding anniversary of Sarah and Tom Jocelyn, who were married in this sanctuary by Bob Sengas on June 23, 1987. Sunshine and campaign made for beautiful words and a wonderful party. In this circle of community, we are grateful for those of you in this sanctuary that show up at protests, those that stroll down our neighbor Church Street on Wednesday evenings to support local businesses, and we're grateful for those of you who engage in one or more teams that this society offers. For all that goes unspoken, yet is companion to us still, let us spend a few moments together in shared stillness until the chime rings again. Each Sunday, an offertory is gratefully gathered. Half the donations received this month of June will be shared with the Vermont Immigration Legal Defense Fund, which supports legal resources for organizations that protect asylum seekers, immigrants, and marginalized people facing deportation and detention. The fund was launched to raise $1 million to support the Vermont Asylum Assistance Project, which works with Vermonters targeted for removal proceedings by federal immigration authorities. The money will be used to hire paralegals and staff, train pro bono lawyers, and assist other nonprofits with legal services. When the music begins, we invite you to come forward to silently mark a joy, a sorrow, or a gratitude in your life by moving a stone up here from one of the baskets onto the table, thus creating a representation of our shared lives at this special, fleeting moment. As you are moved, feel free to come down the side aisles and return via the center aisle, making 2 rows to facilitate the movement of people. If you have an offering you'd like to give to the Vermont Immigration Legal Defense Fund, you can place that in one of these 2 baskets. A reminder, you can also make that offering online. If you are at home or in the sanctuary and want to remain seated, we invite you to lean into the music as it's an opportunity for stillness and centering as it makes sense for you. Friends, whatever it took for you to get here, whatever joys or sorrows that you are carrying, whatever call of love brought you here today, your whole self is welcome here. Come, let us worship together. please join me in the dedication of our offering, which I think will be coming up on the screen there. With gratitude, we dedicate these gifts in the service of our mission to inspire spiritual growth, care for each other and community, seek truth, and act for justice.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Eddie Baker, and I've been asked to read some comments from JUMP volunteers. I enjoy meeting and talking with our guests who have such a wide variety of experience to share, and working with my volunteer colleagues who are so friendly, helpful, and dedicated. There are great people from all walks of life at JUMP, guests and volunteers. This past week, I helped host JUMP's new foot care clinic, providing blood pressure and glucose screenings along with basic foot cleaning and nail trimming. This is such a needed service. It has been great to see it in action. One guest commented that it was great to have some time to talk with a nurse, an RN, about health concerns. A few months ago, an older man came up to me with his JUMP application filled out. We sat down to talk about his situation, and he told me he'd just gotten out of prison after 26 years of incarceration. That really bowled me over. He was calm, yet he had so little, no income, housing, or possessions beyond what he could wear or carry. I was glad we could do something to assist him. Provide some additional clothing, a tent, a sleeping bag, a food card, bus passes, toiletries. And we invited him back the next day for breakfast.
Good morning, and dare I say, good morning, beloved UU community, because that is how I see you and have experienced working with many in your congregation over the years through JUMP, the Joint Urban Ministry Project. As we gather today in this sacred space, outside the walls of this congregation, a crisis continues to unfold before our eyes. In 2025, here in Burlington and throughout Vermont, and well beyond our borders, food insecurity has reached alarming levels. The number of unhoused adults and families now exceeds the capacity of our social service system, and cutbacks are happening, and more are feared and anticipated. These aren't just statistics. You know they represent our neighbors, fellow human beings seeking dignity, safety, and connection. The beliefs of every faith community in our city and region call all of us to recognize the inherent worth and dignity of each person. Our shared beliefs beckon us to justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Today, I invite us to consider what our shared values, beliefs, and principles mean in the face of growing hunger and homelessness in our community, and how our response through JUMP, through the Joint Urban Ministry Project, embodies our deepest shared values. Before we look forward, I want to express profound gratitude for the ways this congregation has supported JUMP. For decades, your generosity through donations, volunteer hours, advocacy, and compassionate attention have been a key force in supporting JUMP's vital and evolving community ministry. Your contributions have provided clothing to those who are shivering in the winter, bus passes for people trying to get to work or important appointments, funds to pay home utility bills so that the rent isn't shorted, and much more. Your volunteer hours have offered dignity to those that society often renders invisible. Your financial gifts have kept the lights on and services flowing when they were needed most. Each act of generosity has been a thread in a tapestry of care that has wrapped around our community's most vulnerable members. This legacy of compassion is something we should celebrate and honor. Thank you for embodying your principles in such tangible, life-changing ways. Now, at the risk of mistakenly not mentioning someone, I want to lift up some names of people from your community who have connected with JUMP in a significant way over the years. All with the support of your faith community, they have helped make JUMP tick in positive ways, responding to important needs. Woody Fulton, who's in this room right now. I just can't even, the list you'd be here till noon for me to tell you what Woody's done. Lynn Douglas, her lovely daughter, Brianna, who started to come to JUMP with her mom as a homeschool child. She was with us in her little braids when she was a little kid and did so much to help people. Ginger Hobbs, Ellen Wolensack, Linda Graves, Gary Kowalski, Lisa Rubin, Rita Bortz, Helen Douglas, Merle Grossmeyer designed our original logo, Mary Silverman, and Roddy O'Neill Cleary, and current UU JUMP board member Phil Brentwood, who is also here. Phil, where are you? Raise your hand, he's way in the back. Phil is our treasurer. And I'm sure many others over the years, such extraordinary people. Together, you have supported JUMP with budgeted giving, special offerings, and many of you as individual donors by participating in JUMP's fundraising events or serving on the JUMP Outreach Center. You've taken on important leadership roles, run errands, and donated much-needed toiletries and more. I do believe at one point, the UU was the toilet paper church for JUMP. Yep. We could do that again. You have been a blessing to JUMP. I have a quote for you from your beloved Roddy O'Neill Cleary. We first met in the late 80s during the tumultuous time that Betsy described in the reading. Thank you, Betsy. I was newly active in rallying the community to support improvements in emergency shelters, hunger relief, and housing programs. In our conversation, Roddy said, "Oh, dear Lucy, what we need is a redistribution of wealth. With so many being left behind, it is the only answer." I have thought about Roddy's statement over the years, and it pushes me to think more deeply and creatively about how we can respond collectively to income inequality and its impact on our collective psyche. Yes, through immediate assistance, and yes, through significant advocacy for social justice. What started as a vision by a small interfaith group of faith community leaders has become JUMP, now a 501c3 with a small staff and a growing team of volunteers. JUMP has functioned in donated space, office, parking, the outreach center, and storage are all donated at First Congregational Church in Burlington since 1990. JUMP's outreach centers open every Thursday and Friday morning. Shannon Lemley Willis is a wonderful young woman who staffs it, and we have 4 to 6 volunteers every Thursday and Friday morning, and they represent faith communities from throughout the county. Each day has a different team. We know that many living in Vermont are facing serious economic challenges. In 2024, JUMP provided more than 3,000 adults and children from 29 Vermont towns and cities with utility grants and bus passes and gas vouchers, food assistance, personal supplies, laundromat access, thrift shop vouchers, and the drop-in center itself, where they can receive information, referrals, and we have food there every day that we're open. About 25% of the folks who are assisted at JUMP are unhoused. JUMP is also providing services to disabled adults, families with young children, refugees, new Americans, asylum seekers, elderly, victims of domestic violence, people of all ages struggling with significant health issues, all who come through our doors. In late January of this year, in response to the very high needs in our community, our board of directors at JUMP took a leap of faith and started providing financial services and support to 60 households a week. A household is either a family or an individual. This was a significant increase, around 30% increase from previous years. We also started communicating that we were open for breakfast every Thursday and Friday morning. So if a guest is not yet eligible for the quarterly financial assistance that is available through JUMP, they can come by for food and conversation and learn more about the pretty complex array of services that they could apply for. We also started the foot care clinic that was mentioned before with the Medical Reserve Corps. This increase in services is clearly needed in our community, and we have a lot of work to do to make it work in the long run. I'm here on JUMP's behalf to ask you, to invite you to take a step further into supporting JUMP's work. When I met with Reverend Karen to prepare for today, we talked about the current hunger and housing crisis. I shared that JUMP was founded in a time with similar trends, and that the leaders of that day saw collaboration as their best and faithful answer. In my experience, the window to making collaboration work is a spiritual practice, as our mutual goals for social justice draw us away from polarization and towards community and communication. I shared with Karen that my goal for this morning is to refresh your connection with JUMP, updating you about what JUMP is doing now, and invite you to meet me at JUMP this summer to see what it's all about. Come and visit for a morning, meet some of our guests. Your Sunday breakfast volunteers will surely know some by name. And I have a sign-up sheet with the dates on it that I'll be there, and I would love to host any of you for any part of the morning that you can come and spend some time. I also have another clipboard where you can put your email address or your address so we can contact you directly from JUMP. There are many ways to get involved, from donating a list of basic hygiene supplies to organizing a drive to collect donated supplies to becoming the toilet paper church again. Here's the shopping list. To help out on a committee, apply to serve on our board, or volunteer in our center. JUMP can do more with you on our team. I welcome conversation with you after worship today. Now, JUMP was founded on this revolutionary idea that faith communities of different traditions could come together around shared values of compassion and justice. Your banner says it really well. Resilient, community, and hope go together. In your tradition, in the Jewish tradition, you draw wisdom from many sources, including the Hebrew prophet Micah. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God? The Buddhist tradition teaches compassion for all human beings. Islamic tradition emphasizes charitable giving as a pillar of faith. Christian scripture reminds us that when we feed the hungry and welcome the stranger, we are serving the divine. When we collaborate across faith traditions through JUMP, we practice a profound spiritual discipline. We set aside theological difference to honor what unites us, our shared humanity and responsibility to care for one another. This collaboration becomes a form of prayer, a meditation on interconnection, a ritual of community building. As the Sufi poet Rumi wrote, out behind ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. JUMP is in that field where we can meet simply as humans, helping humans, recognizing ourselves in one another. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you this morning.
We now invite you to rise in body or in spirit. Join in singing hymn number 168, One More Step.
Oh
Please join me in extinguishing our chalice by reciting the words up here on the wall. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you.
As a benediction, I share these words from Jan Richardson. Blessed are you who bear the light in unbearable times, who testify to its endurance amid the unendurable, who bear witness to its persistence when everything seems in shadow and grief. Blessed are you in whom the light lives, in whom the brightness blazes, your heart a chapel, your heart an altar where in the deepest night can be seen the fire that shines forth in you. In unaccountable faith, in stubborn hope, in love that illumines every broken thing it finds. Amen.